So when they cooking in the kitchen, like even when they kneading dumpling or whatever, they're like, stand here, I'm watching, and don't ask any question. And like one thing I appreciate, well, I remember my mom. She would be kneading dumpling, and she would give me a little piece of dumpling. It feel like Play-Doh. So I'm kneading my little bit of dumpling, and I'm watching my mom season the pots, and that's how we learn how to cook. For sure. As I was saying, my children, I have two sons in the military, and when they went away and they came back, they were like telling their friends in the military, like, I'm not using this type of food. I need my mom's cooking. And yeah, so my sons, they say I need to be in a museum because their friends, young girls nowadays, don't know how to cook. And every time I used to remember first introduce my friends to, have dinner at our place and stuff like that, they were hooked. Yeah. And obviously they weren't Jamaican, but when they came, they were hooked. They didn't understand a word that my parents were saying because of patois.
Welcome back to Rhythm and Rome with Benneth, Paul, and Trisha, where we discuss our travel adventures and explore cultural differences, similarities, misconceptions, and all the craziness in between. Get ready for a passport knuckle ride.
Hello, everybody. Today is a special day for Rhythm and Rome. I'm one of the co-hosts of Rhythm and Rome. I'm Paul. My other two co-hosts, Benneth and Trisha. Today, I wanted to do something a little bit different. As you can see, I'm here in Jamaica visiting my family. I have introduced you to my cousin. Here at Rhythm and Rome, we talk about culture, travel, and misconceptions and everything in between.
Right.
So I thought this would be a great opportunity to discuss all of that in a place where we are both familiar with.
Yes.
So for the audience, we're just going to start off. Why don't you just give a quick introduction to who you are and where you live and just what you do.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Leisha Phillips. Well, thank you for asking me to do this. I'm delighted. So I am actually the founder of the Put Your Sneakers On Challenge. Right now, that is an initiative that I'm pushing, and it's primarily encourages us in the community to, embrace fitness, nutrition, health. The reason why I'm pushing that is because I had a medical emergency that pretty much brought to light why health is very important. I was neglecting my health. And so as a Black woman, I understand why I did because of the busyness, and I was a single mom at the time. And I just want to put the awareness out there for people to take their health seriously. Family, first generation American, but my father is from Kingston and my mother's from Negril, Jamaica. So we are here right now at the Rolton Resort in Negril for our cousin's wedding. We just came back from the beach, so that's all part of health. So, so I'm recording also as I'm here, so to promote health as well.
And I'm sorry if I think the lighting, forgive me, okay? I don't know how this is going to work, but I think this isn't very important. So it looks like I'm washed out, but I think the most important thing is her. This is like the 90s.
Yeah, the 80s. Yeah.
It was not cool to be Jamaican. And that's how I experienced it. Like, people were always trying to make fun.
Yeah.
Because they didn't understand the culture. Okay? Because I remember when I told them, I was like, yeah, I eat curry goat.
Yeah.
And what they used to say all the time.
Like,
how y'all like curry goat now?
Growing up, it depends because we moved around quite a bit.
Yes.
Right, growing up. So
we were always around family.
Yeah, we were always around family.
Somewhere there was a family.
Yes. We never moved isolated, which I appreciate because my children, they're not isolated today. So I love that they embrace the family culture and values. I experienced some of the kind of discrimination.
No, not kind of.
Yeah, it's discrimination because I remember as a little girl, I'll never forget, my teacher asked me to count. I was like in kindergarten. No, one thing about Jamaican parents also, they teach us before we go to school.
Yes.
So I knew how to count. I knew my ABCs. We don't have to spell my name. But
it was in patois.
So, I'll never forget this kindergarten teacher. She said, Alicia, I want you to count. I said, 1, 2, 3. And she was like, that's not a tree. It's 3. And I knew she knew what I was like. Now that I know. And the kids laughed at me.
Yeah. I used to say 7. Instead of 0.
When we moved to Queens part of New York, it was more embraced because then We were Jamaican, and we hung
We had a
around.
little small
Jamaican, our Trinidadian brothers and
Yes.
sisters, our Haitian brothers and
Yes.
sisters.
Oh,
Yeah, and our
okay.
Puerto Rican was
Yeah.
friends. So we all kind of like congregated together.
Yeah.
So it was more accepted than when we moved to Long Island.
It was shocker.
Again, a shock.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that was the difference because then you didn't have all the, we had to go, because I remember we had to take the train into the city,
Yeah.
get the Jamaican food and
Right.
all this stuff. And then my uncle who lived in Brooklyn, we said to go, let's turn it to the stereotypes,
Yeah.
right? One of the things that I remember was misconception, how people, what they thought of Jamaicans.
Right.
So what are some things, some characteristics that you've heard that you can smack down as misconceptions?
Definitely misconceptions, even from growing up. Like, one misconception is that, like, we're poor, or that
Dirty because of the dreadlocks.
dirty because of the dreadlocks, that everyone in Jamaica smokes weed.
Yes, I was gonna say that one.
Yeah. So,
Oh, there's a lot.
and also lack education, and that some of us are mean or weird.
And let me tell you, there are those stories. If you look at the past of Jamaica, so there was a revolution. They had to fight Great Britain on Jamaica for a long time, since 1962 when they got their independence, August. And there was, because we hear it when our mother was talking about growing up and how it was a struggle, which is why there was a huge migration of Jamaicans moving to specific countries,
Yeah.
which was America, Canada, and the UK were the three main places that Jamaicans would congregate to it. But because of that, I think that made things was a lot more stronger. And because of the misconception, like you were just saying, about the uneducated, the dirty, let me tell you something. One of the things that Jamaican family always do is with their kids, they don't want you to be nothing else but a nurse, doctor, or any technology that's supposed to work. And grade is always, they don't even understand anything else. They be like, what did you bring home?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and I never forget, like they don't, my encouragement was from my sisters, Bennett and Jack, and all this, was they were saying, just make sure you graduate, because if you don't, I already have the grade ready. And I took that to heart. It was.
And what's even more powerful and impactful, let me speak for like my parents and my generation, right? Because, you know, like Paul mentioned, we're not far removed from our independence.
No.
Like how America had their independence hundreds of years ago, and Jamaica is not far removed.
Thank you.
So a lot of our parents, some of them
struggle to finish.
They work hard, wash clothes, they do everything they can to see their children educated.
Yeah.
They understand the importance of education, and I'm gonna tell you something.
100%.
I would not be here where I'm at today if it was not for my parents pushing me the way they did. And I am the same way, because they understand the value and appreciate what they did not have. So they most, if not all, Jamaican parents want to see their children have what they did not have.
Exactly.
So that's where the pride comes from.
Traditionally, I know my mother used to say, when we go to people's house, don't act like you're hungry, because you never ask for, that was the most important thing. When you go to somebody's house, never act like you're hungry. If they offer you something, kindly, don't thank you. It's that pride. Don't eat from anybody. You always learn, and that's why they wanted us to learn out. What are some things that you know from tourists, and I got some, that misconception that tourists think they hear Jamaica?
Yeah, definitely. So I travel here very, very often because I love coming home. I've been in Jamaica for like a long distance. So when I travel to Jamaica, right, my coworkers, my colleagues, they literally say there is an advisory for Jamaica, and you know, you're going to Jamaica. Oh my God! And what about the advisory? What advisory, right? Because sometimes I'm meeting my elderly mom here that's almost 8 years old. And I'm like, what advisory? My elderly mom and my aunts and my family, they living better than us. Yeah. So I'm about to go join them.
And the food is more healthier. Yeah. And I mean, right now we're in Jamaica. Yes, it is. But this is Negril, by the way. And Negril used to be straight country. Yeah. Like there was nothing here. But look at it now. I mean, there's so many people here, misconception. And I, unfortunately, have to say that a lot of that misconception comes from racism.
It does.
Okay? Because when they think of predominant, and that's the other stereotype. Everyone thinks Jamaica is predominantly black.
Nope.
It is not. Jamaica is mixed, full mixed, black, white,
Chinese.
I have Chinese parents.
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to have a Chinese pastor.
Yeah. The interesting part about it is that, that's what people see and hear, and they see it on TV.
Yeah.
But they don't understand. Like, and here's the other part. My parents did not know. Same thing with your parents.
Yeah.
When they came to America, it was the first time they experienced what racism was.
Yeah.
Which was interesting because when my mom used to work in the nursing care and all this other stuff, that was the first place that she got into the racism part and stuff like that when they lived in North Miami Beach, because the lived in this as well. And I'm just like, a lot of people think that Jamaica is just black. When you see a Jamaican and you see someone of a different color walking down the street, I observe so many people, they don't care. Like, it's different than if I'm in Eastern Europe. People don't look at me.
Yeah.
Because I don't look like them. So that in itself, and I think I got into the stereotype myself because, unlike Leisha, it took me a while before coming back. And I feel really bad about it now.
So, tell them how long it took for.
Oh, God. No.
Yes, you just tell the truth. Honesty is the best policy. There's going to be other Jamaicans listening to this that probably felt the same way. Like, why are you going back there? But no.
To be honest with you, I don't even understand why it took me this long. But the last time since this time, 1990, was my last time in Jamaica.
Yeah. My aunt,
not even in college.
Hallelujah.
For those who don't know what that means, bring him back. But yeah, and I don't even know why. It wasn't that I was scared. It was just that, you hear a lot of things about, don't go here because it's bad, it's this. And then, of course, the government is saying, putting out these advisories, be careful, don't go there because terrorists and this and that. Jamaica, there's no terrorists. People are so loving. And everything is surrounded by food, drinks, and a good time.
Yeah.
And I am so...
And sun.
And sun, of course. I mean, we're at the beach and behind us right now. But it's just, and I'm embarrassed to say this because I wish I did come and it was so beautiful to be able to see the rest of my family. It just sucked and I waited that long.
One thing I want to bring to the forefront about our culture, right? So we're here for our cousin's wedding. So they had a shindig at my aunt's house, right? So one thing that Paul was able to experience, which he hasn't in a long time, but this is Jamaican culture, is that when the adults are partying, you see party, food, and everything. And one thing we do not neglect are the children running around through the party.
That is important.
Growing up. Like I said, Paul and I, we literally grew up together. So we remember, especially his mom used to have parties. I mean, real.
House parties is totally different than American house parties.
Paul was back. He invented that call. So, but as kids, we were not excluded from the party. There was no kids section and adult section like they have here in America. And I appreciate that because I know how to conduct myself in an adult party. Like, even though we were children, we knew not to be a part of certain conversations. We
just mind our own business running through the crowd.
And it was safe for us. It was not, and it just taught us to, one, embrace fun. And we just know how to conduct ourselves.
It was nothing.
It's not.
That's a good point, Lisa, because so. But let me transition to the health benefit part, because you did mention on the health benefit. Being our culture, everybody knows Jamaica as track athletes, and yes, I did do track in college. And when everyone think of Jamaica, they think of sun, beach, and running. You just mentioned that you did the put your sneakers on challenge. What was the reason why you did that? And then how important is that towards the culture aspect of things?
Yeah.
Give us a little bit about
it. Yeah, definitely. In today's culture, we're more health conscious. So, growing up in Jamaica, everything is natural, right? So moving to the United States, right, we have what is called the American Standard Diet. So even though as kids, we didn't grow up on pizza and stuff like that, but because we've embraced that culture in high school and going into college, we start eating like that. So I started eating like that. And I went from being petite to, at one point, I had clocked over 300 pounds. And so I started having some health issues, and I said, you know what? This was back in like 2016, 17, 18. I made a decision. I said I need to get healthy because I was looking at my face and I was not feeling good in my body. And I decided to speak with the nutritionist, right? The nutritionist, this is what her advice to me. She used to say, Alicia, you got to get some physical activity to your life. And at the time, I was a single mom and I felt like I was struggling. I didn't have the time. I was like, I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time to get physical activity.
And you used to run.
And I used to run. I used to be an athlete. The nutritionist, she told me, she said, Alicia, put your sneakers on. You will get activity in your life. You will go to the gym. And that was just, that concept just stayed with me. Me putting my sneakers on was the ringing of the bell for me to get some activity into my life. In 2020, I was the most fit in my life. Like, I had a personal trainer. I had lost over 140 pounds. So I was down to like 165 and muscular, and I started having
eating well.
Eating well. So I started having symptoms of something. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was a UTI. I was still busy. So even though I just didn't really take my health still that seriously.
Put everybody else in.
I put everybody else, I had in me. And so I went to the doctor. Fast forward, they did a urine test. They said, the doctor came back and said, I don't want to alarm you, but refer you to an oncologist because my liver enzymes were off the chart. And I was like, how does the word alarm and oncologist?
Yeah.
When I went to the oncologist, I was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic cancer. And with that diagnosis, it really, like I said, I was already working on my health. But let me tell you what stuck with me. So back when I had a surgery, a hysterectomy, and the doctor at the time saw my liver, but because I was so overweight, he said, you have fatty liver and it seems benign, right? Because I was overweight. But now that's when I started the process. So I lost the weight. 2020.
But you've been ignoring your health for a while.
Well, yeah, for a while.
Work and fun and everything.
And everything else in front, So when I started working on my health, I said, okay, if I lose the weight, then it should heal the fatty liver and I'm good. Because he looked at it and said it looked benign and the lesions on my liver looked like fatty liver. When I was diagnosed with the cancer, the oncologist surgeon said you should be dead. The lesions that he misdiagnosed as fatty liver, probably because I was overweight, so he automatically assumed it was fatty, was actually lesions, was cancer. And at that time, it was only a few lesions on my liver where they could have cut it out and my liver could have grown back. But now, because it's so many years later, I have several lesions on my liver. But because of me taking steps to work out, the lesions or the cancer has not progressed to any other organs. But I was misdiagnosed because I was overweight and unhealthy.
And this is an important story to tell because the fact that you took it upon yourself to do your challenge, to seek the Sneakers On challenge, it not only helped, but it also brought on a lot of people globally to help with this. And the moral of the story behind the fact that this is so important because all this stuff matters, travel, your health, the way you carry yourself and taking care of you. Self-care is so important. And people don't, especially Black and brown people. I don't know why, but we're the worst at it. Black women are worse at, monitoring our own health. And I want this to be, echoed that it is important for you. It's just like when they tell you in the airplane, put your mask on first and then help others. And we don't tend to do that. So it's important because this is another reason why myself, Benev, and Trisha, we started this podcast on travel and culture and stuff because a lot of us, number one, we don't take the time to go outside of our comfort zone. We don't take the time to actually sit and enjoy the sun. Relax, food, communications with others, and stop thinking about work and think about you. I'm glad that you brought travel into this. So, as you said, let me state this. The Put Your Sneakers On Challenge has expanded globally. We have followers all over the world, from the Caribbean, Trinidad, to now Central America, Belize, to Germany, to England, Jamaica. When I got here, they were like, put your sneakers on.
when I got here. I was just like, so, because it is important to promote health. So
Health is what?
health is wealth. We cannot afford to travel.
Yes.
We feel like we
Yes.
cannot afford to rest. And guess what?
Yes.
We cannot afford not to. I don't care what income level you are. There is a travel plan for you. You don't have to travel the way
Speak it.
someone with a lot of money travels, or someone that you see on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. Travel on your budget. You can literally come to Jamaica on your budget. You can get an Airbnb. You can
Relax.
the beach. There's public beaches. The food
Is you fresh?
yes, very fresh. If it's not Jamaica, Bahamas, Belize, and I keep saying Belize because I just came from Belize and I just
Tristan, you heard that?
yes,
Came from your
the
country.
food is phenomenal in Belize. And guess what? My husband and I, we travel Belize on a budget. So when we typically travel, my husband and I, because we love to travel because of our budget, we typically travel off season.
No.
But our plan is to see the world, even if it's off season, as long as we get to
And that's-
experience it. So I just wanted to
Yeah,
encourage
no.
everyone on
That's
that.
absolutely a good point that you made. You talked about stress and every budget can matter for other people in travel. Rhythm and Roam. We put together a pocket guide. Helping you to get through learning and talking about the culture and talking about different things of how to travel without adding all those stress and stuff. We would love if you guys would support this initiative. Amazon, if you go to our website, you'll see where you can purchase the book. It's less than $10, so it's not going to break your bank. I really hope that we do consider doing a little bit more travel and not focusing so much, even when we're traveling, to do work.
Yeah,
Americans are very bad at that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had to live in Europe to realize that when you are vacation, it's vacation.
Yeah.
Don't check your phone, don't do any of this stuff. And I can't stress enough, get out of your comfort zone, because the world will be so much better with so much chaos, without the chaos. If we learn everyone else's culture, take the time, we think that everybody is for us. We're so cocky and we don't want to learn about everybody else's culture. And then when we go somewhere, we look like fools in their eye, and we don't want to do that. We want to learn what other people's culture. Imagine if people came to Jamaica and know what Jamaica was about and not do the stereotype about, oh, they got dirty hair and dreadlocks, and oh, by the way, this is the style that everybody wants to do now. And not knowing much about it. If you learn and been to those areas, you won't be the way you are and saying the way you are and being stereotypical like you are. And that is why we have hate today.
yeah,
So, and I thought this was a good discussion to take us both back to how we grew up and just seeing the growth, obviously, between us.
Yeah.
Who would have funked it?
Yeah.
And these little ass kids of us
Yeah.
running around causing havoc and stuff like that, that we would be
yeah,
chilling back in Jamaica
yeah.
and just enjoying
Yeah.
the fruits of our labor.
Yeah, Friday is
Culture clash from coast to coast. Misconceptions, we chasing
When you
ghosts.
know where you come from, then I am so proud of you.
Likewise.
God bless you, and I just hope that this is what you're doing spreads and go far.
And likewise, put your sticker chest. Obviously, you're doing your stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're making it, and you're handling your situation with your health.
Yeah.
Health is wealth. I love that.
Yeah, that's my thing.
I want to thank everybody, and if anything, you guys learn from this, is to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Travel, avoid those misconceptions, and buy our book.
Yeah.
And enjoy life, man.
Enjoy life.
Get one shot at it.
Yeah.
And tomorrow's never promised. So until then, make sure you guys check us out. Hit that like button, subscribe, and tell us what else you would like to hear about.
Unlock the world with every beat. Find the places where hearts meet, from the bustling streets to mountain high.